Dark greetings.
Ooh, dark greetings.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Two Women Talking About Anime on the Internet.
Hi, Bandit.
What's up, my dude?
Yay, right on time.
I've got my notes, and I am ready to talk about episodes 7 and 8 of Surreal Experiments Lain.
Yes, I came halfway up the stairs and realized I left it downstairs, so I went down and got it this time.
Wonderful. Learning Croatian, huh? Interesting. Not one you hear every day.
Yeah, no. I had a friend who was Croatian when I was in Chicago. But that's about it.
I have a lot of notes for these two.
Yeah. Maybe about the same as the others for me.
I don't know. I feel like a lot happened in these two episodes. Like more than has happened in past episodes, I guess.
Yes.
Ooh, that sounds exciting, Bandit.
Yeah, that does sound cool. I don't know that much about Croatia.
I can't say that I do either. But starting off with episode 7, which is Society, the first thing I've noted, I feel like so much of this can't be real because how is she getting all this shit into her room?
Where's it coming from? Like,
yeah.
How does she suddenly know how to do these things?
I have questions.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote down a lot of quotes this episode too, because one of the first things that Lain says that really struck me was, quote, "The me in the Wired is becoming less and less like me," which I think is so interesting, like considering the way that Lain has changed as a character from the time that we first saw her to like the way that she's acting now, and these different things that we're seeing from what might be Lain of the Wired.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot happening here.
Yeah, I wrote that quote down almost word for word as well. Because I think it's important. It's like her acknowledging that there is another Lain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which, we kind of guessed was the case, but it was not really confirmed per se.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she's aware of it at the same time. So it's confirmed and she's somehow aware.
Mm-hmm. And I also wrote down, because there's this shot where like Maki is staring in through like the crack in the door and she's like saying something that is inaudible because like it's not subtitled, so like you're not supposed to hear it. And Lain makes a comment about how, Maki's been acting different lately, and I'm like, different enough for her to notice.
Oh yeah, she like real messed up, like real messed up.
But as we move through the episode, I like this. Where do I want to go with this? They pack so much into this. Like to episode 7 specifically, I feel like they pack a shit ton into.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Because when this scene, like this opening scene with Lain in her room ends, there's this shot that's like a live action shot with a filter over it to represent somebody like seeing the world through VR goggles. And
I guess it's more AR almost at that point, right?
I suppose.
Yeah.
But who I assume is whoever this guy is who's wearing this VR headset and is like, just like walking the streets of whatever city they're in. He says something about how like the real quote, "The real world and the Wired are attached end to end." And I'm just wondering who the hell this man is.
A douchebag.
Fair enough. And then we find ourselves in this, I think it's I'm trying not to conflate things from the two episodes because I watched them in rapid succession.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is the first time we see the sign for the Tachibana General Laboratories, this office building, I think.
Seeing it where?
Like, because we go up into, like, the next place that we're taken to is this office building where this man has like a very strange kind of interaction with his
Oh,
secretary, or like who
yes,
I
that one.
assume to be his secretary.
Yeah.
Because he's like she tells him that there's like some meeting or some party or something, and he says, "Oh, I'll be down in 3 minutes." I was like, "Ooh, that's weirdly specific." And there
Mm-hmm.
seemed to be some kind of tension between these two characters who we have never seen before up to this point.
Sexual tension.
Yeah. And he opens up this email. I think it's an email because it doesn't actually have any text. It just has this like symbol in it
Mm-hmm.
that starts like glowing, and he says, "What game do you want to play this time?" And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
wondering what that all was about.
It reminds me of I can't remember exactly what she said, but when Lane walked into her room a few episodes ago and is like, "Who are we? Whatever today."
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what
Um,
I don't remember the exact verbiage either, but I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Which to go back to the 3 minutes thing, there's definitely a theme that seems to be like popping up in these couple of episodes of time,
Mm-hmm.
which yeah, we're close enough to this note in where I was, because you hear like what's sort of like a broadcast,
Mm-hmm.
and they said like something about time being weird. They're recording the message now, but you could get it tomorrow or
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah. I wrote that down, but there were a couple things I wrote down before that.
Yes. I had to jump ahead for a moment to like kind of make the point. But because what I
Mm.
was going to say is, I don't know why it never really occurred to me to question the beginning of each episode, where there was that voice saying present day, present time, and laughing.
Mm. You make an excellent point.
So I think these things are all connected somehow.
Okay,
Like
I
they
like
have
it.
power over time in some way. That's why 3 minutes, like he can be that specific, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay, but I'm trying to remember exactly how this progresses because I think we see. What are you talking about? We are talking about the anime Serial Experiments Lane. We are up to episodes 7 and 8, so we're talking about that on stream tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully you've seen it before. If not, big fat spoiler warning.
Yeah. Vintage anime.
Vintage anime. We love it. Okay. But and then it's like the next morning when Lane is at school again. Arisu knows that something is up with her.
Yeah. She says to her, "You're slipping again."
Mm-hmm. Which was interesting because they it's not like she was her friend before, you know?
Well, they were sort of friends for a while, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been trying to fend off this creature this whole time. I give.
Oh, sweet baby.
I, I had my hand down, like trying to like pet her so she would, stay down there. And then I was like, why does her head feel sharp? And I look down and she's just hitting my hand with her paw.
You'll have
Because
that.
she wanted real pets. Yeah.
And Lane says something about how the real world isn't real at all.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
that felt noteworthy.
I'm gonna need you to get down. Sorry. Ouch.
And this is such a strange interaction between Lane and Arisu, but Arisu calling Lane her friend does genuinely seem to make Lane happy, and I thought that was kind of sweet.
Well, because she, I think it was last week in one of the episodes, she was like talking to those disembodied voices, and she was saying like how she didn't have any friends and they were so nice to her and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like she thought she didn't have any friends.
So that's nice.
Yeah. Marcy was a
Um,
good friend.
and this is when that news broadcast comes in because it says like, oh, something happened with like the Information Bureau. I'm not exactly sure what agency that's referring in the Japanese bureaucracy, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh yeah, something happened with the Information Bureau and something's up with the Wired again. And this was the where the line was about like you may receive a message tomorrow or yesterday,
Yeah.
which that's not how time works.
No. Not supposed to be.
Nope. And then they refer to the Knights by a much longer name. They call them the Knights of the Eastern Calculus. Which,
Nerds.
yeah, it sounds like some kind of like anarchist. And they describe some of their activities, like collecting information and like selling illegal technology and things like that. And it makes them sound like some kind of like I could only describe it as like an anarchist hacker collective or some shit.
Sort of like Anonymous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Let me know if I'm blowing past any of your notes, by the way.
I'm making sure I'm getting them in there.
Okay, because the next thing I have is phrased as a question. Someone is after Lain.
I was just thinking earlier, I was like, man, these notes, there are a remarkable number of sentences that end in question marks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have been noticing that when I take notes on this series a lot.
Either question marks or exclamation points a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Following her. This is this where the cyborgs show up again?
Possibly, because I have written down there's like this cutoff after this voice asks someone, like this voice asks if somebody wasn't. No, what did you say?
I have written down the note "the lane," and I don't remember what that's in reference to.
Interesting, because there was like a cutoff after this voice asks if somebody was a Knights member, and I thought that was kind of odd. Like they were being like, it was kind of like, oh, connection terminated because you asked about a forbidden topic or something like that, or like that was the vibe I got.
Well, that was the headset guy, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So he was like talking to these people trying to get made, one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you don't talk about the Knights, man. That's just not.
Yeah, How do you not this has been clearly established.
It's like trying to get into a secret society by asking people if they're in the secret society. Like that's
no one's gonna tell you.
Oh yeah, because I had written "Don't ask about the Knights," and I had the Lane right before that. I think she appears somewhere, and somebody asked her if she is the Lane, and I felt like that was significant, but I just don't remember the exact.
I remember what you're talking about.
Because like call her the Lane like makes her seem like a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of big deals, I feel as though this is definitely a big deal because this is the second character who said something about it this episode. This housewife that we see is the second person to say something about the Wired and the real world being the same.
Mm-hmm.
So again, just noteworthy.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. That was the same delivery guy that delivered Lane's Nabby, right?
Oh, yeah! Okay.
I thought there was something significant about that because he says something similar to Lane about like, this fancy Nabby that I could never afford. Mm-hmm. And it's like, this guy's in on something.
Yeah. Okay, that's definitely sus.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that little interaction, we see our sort of Men in Black types return once again. And then I wrote down the quote, "I'm breaking the barrier between the real world and the Wired." Because I think it is said by the VR guy again, because he says something about wanting to become a knight, and he's like tracked down like the channel that they use to communicate.
Yeah, he was real excited about it.
And then we go back to Lane because they ask her, these two, like, again, are men in black. They ask her to come with them.
Yeah.
And they say that, like, they're not going to hurt her.
Yeah, it
So
was a
she,
request.
yeah, it wasn't like, at gunpoint or anything like that.
Yeah.
But this is where we get to the Tachibana laboratory.
Yeah.
And
Deciphering my own notes.
Yeah, because my notes, like, in order, it's like, where did they take her? A lab. Who is this that Lane is helping with his old navy? And we never learn this guy's name, but clearly he has to be someone of importance.
Yes. And him asking her to fix his navy, like, is something. Like, he wanted to see it, if she could do it or how she would do it or something.
Yeah. I got the same impression. And I'm looking at my notes and I'm trying to remember exactly, like, what events, like, precisely what events they're referring to. Because I wrote down Lane in quotes is one of the knights, ?
It's one of the knights. I think they ask her that.
Something like that. And then they, like, kind of imply that they oh my god, there's so much happening. I'm like, because I'm looking at this and it's all coming back, but it's coming back kind of jumbled.
This is the part where we realize I was right.
Yeah, because he starts asking her, like, if she thinks she's real or not, or, like, things like that. Because
are your parents your real parents?
Are your parents your real parents? What game has she been playing with kids?
The hide and seek.
Yeah, and why is that VR headset feeding into this random dude's navy? That's a question.
Yeah. Because he hacked into the Night Channel.
Yeah. And there's another quote, I don't know how much of what you do is intentional. Your presence in the Wired is highly unnatural.
Mm-hmm.
I really am like, honestly, you're probably right at this point. So pat yourself on the back for that.
Because didn't I just say last week her whole family is fake?
Mm-hmm. And I'm wondering if your presence in the Wired is highly unnatural. Is that why the Knights are interested in Lane, perhaps?
Yeah, which is interesting. And I hate to, like, jump ahead, but, like, they said that she was born, so it's not like she's she's a living thing, like the Lane of the Wired. So it's like she was born, but then got in there somehow, which isn't supposed to be a thing.
Yeah, because these men in black types, this man that they bring her to, he says that as far as they can figure out, the Knights want to use Lane for something, and that something has to be prevented, because whatever that something is, it's not a good something.
Yeah. Yeah, and
and then they show the same 3 people that we saw at different points in this episode who all received that, like, email symbol or, like, something to do with that symbol, the housewife, the salaryman, and the like the gamer nerd that they show briefly, like, in his hovel. But anyway, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
I honestly don't know. That's why I didn't finish saying.
Oopsies. But yeah, and then Deus comes up again. And this is when he starts asking, like, yes, are your parents your real parents? Like, do you know anything about them? Things like that.
Birthdays. And like, I thought it was, like, for some reason, the one that really got me was, like, he asked if they'd never celebrated a birthday in her family, like, her entire life. It's like, how do you not notice that?
Yeah. But I thought that Lane's kind of very sudden demeanor change was really interesting, because at first she's really upset and she's crying, but then she, like, I can't remember, like, is there something that flips the switch, or is it just kind of random?
I think it's that she's, like, because she was melting down essentially because of all these questions he was asking about her family and birthdays and stuff, and she just kind of like, you know, snapped a little because of that. And so this is something I've been saying for weeks. There's two lanes, and I said they could be in. They are probably in the one body.
I can
That's
definitely see that being the case.
Like, I think the one lane switched for the other. Like, I mean, not that it's actually dissociative identity disorder, but like, you know, somebody with DID would switch personalities is what it felt. Because I genuinely believe, you know, our lane knows nothing about what the wired lane does.
Interesting. Okay. Why is that motherboard in the trash? The motherboard with the symbol on it, which it seemed kind of odd to be like, or I don't know. It's an interesting choice, I guess, to have like this housewife character be like ordering computer parts. That struck me as like, I don't know, just worthy of note.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't just put that in there for nothing. I mean, the only significant thing that I really pulled out of it was the delivery guy, potentially.
Yeah.
But she's got to have something to do with something.
Yeah, that's kind of the feeling that I was getting.
I think the kid's going to come back somehow because of like the hide and seek game and stuff, and he's playing in the Wired.
Okay. I could see that happening.
That might be the connection, yeah.
But again, it's the same symbol with all of these people, or like this, that we've seen in association with these three different characters who we've just met for the first time this episode. And I'm wondering if that symbol has something to do with the Knights.
It could. It's kind of hard to tell what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm a little unclear on that as well.
But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody said, like, this is the symbol for a group called the Knights. I'd be like, I can see that.
Yeah, sure. Why not? And then I have a fair amount of notes, but not as many as I do for episode 7 for episode 8. I don't know about you. Did we cover everything that you remarked on in episode 7?
Yep.
Wonderful. So let us move on to episode 8, which is called Rumors.
Mm-hmm.
And my first question, the first question that was raised by this episode for me is like, because we keep hearing God coming up in one way or another, whether it's God or Deus or whatever. Why would God exist within why do people feel, or like, why is there such a strong belief that he might exist, or that God as an entity might exist within the Wired in particular?
Because the internet is everywhere. It's omnipresent, like God.
This is very true. And I was very curious who this, I guess, avatar that Lain was talking to is. It's like this silhouette of a person that she's speaking to.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I just assume any disembodied voice is supposed to be God. Or in this case, sort of bodied, but you know. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, before we get into the episode, I don't know if I just missed it. I meant to go back and see if somehow I just wasn't paying attention. But I think they didn't do the present day, present time at the beginning of this episode. I don't know if that means
pretty sure. I'm 99% sure they did because I watched it today.
Oh. Yeah. I thought I was honest because I was like, I don't remember them saying that in this episode. I meant to go back and check, but then I forgot.
And then this voice brings up Tachibana again and says that like they may be sabotaging the Wired in some way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I don't know about that, but sure, that seems like a possibility.
Yeah. Man, there's just so much.
There's a lot happening. Because my next question is once again, what is up with Maki?
Mine just says, sis is glitching.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, no, she Was that like 2 episodes ago or 3 that she like got broken
Yeah, pretty much.
because there was a second version of her,
Hmm.
much like a second version of Lane.
Yeah.
And I think
Because
that was the moment. She hasn't been the same since then.
Yeah, because clearly that guy asking about Lane's family has like gotten under her skin,
Mm-hmm.
and her parents are acting very strange as well. Her parents, question mark, who's to say, are
Yeah.
acting very strange as well.
It's so very like Matrix.
Yeah, which like, and I remember you saying when we first started watching the show that this was one of the inspirations for the Matrix, and I can
Oh
definitely
yeah,
see that.
I already forgot that.
Whoopsies.
I totally forgot about that. I just thought about it because like there are moments in the Matrix where like, you'll suddenly see a bunch of people turn and look.
Hmm.
So that's what it reminded me of. But yeah,
Yeah.
totally forgot about that.
Um.
Yeah, I just wrote that her parents powered down.
Pretty much, but I'm looking back at my notes and I see that one of the questions was answered. And we'll get to that.
Mm.
But so the next morning, when Lane is going to school, Arisu comes up to her and is like, "Oh, I don't believe all these rumors about you." Like, and we
Mm-hmm.
never learn exactly what the rumors are, or I mean, like,
Not at that point.
not at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
But like Aris is so sweet. She's like, I trust you. And then her friends just suck. I do not
yeah,
like Arisu's friends, but
no, I
she's
don't
a
like
nice person.
Arisu's friends either. Um, and what I wrote down that later gets answered is who was that in the red car, because they take a moment to focus on that,
Mm-hmm. Yes. It
and
seemed
we'll
like
get
the way the friends were talking that it was somebody that Arisu had a crush on.
yeah, and we'll get to that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this scene where there's a bunch of different voices that are all kind of like talking over each other about like different like, oh, I heard this happened at such and such, and oh, did you hear about, like, just a lot of like rumors flying about a lot of different things with what I assume in the
Mm-hmm.
Wired.
Yeah. And Lane's kind of walking between,
Mm-hmm.
mm-hmm, and randomly answering on occasion.
Yeah. And then this voice kind of gets picked out, and he says that he's Lane, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, because I just have a note that said Wired Lane is God.
I mean, there's a chance that winds up being like the one sentence answer to this entire show, but
Yeah, could be. I was trying to remember like why exactly I wrote it. Um, oh yeah, because I guess that would make sense because this is the entity that we've been thinking about as God, and he sort of says that,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, yeah, I didn't make the world and all that, but like I am omnipresent and I have slight influence on things. And then he says, "I'm you,"
Mm-hmm.
which is why Lane is God.
And then there's another quote that I have, which is, "You are merely a hologram of that other you. You are just a body."
Which that makes no sense. Holograms don't have physical form.
Yeah, that's not how that works.
You're either a hologram or a body. You can't be both. But I thought that was very telling because I think I think it was last week that like maybe she wasn't real,
Mm-hmm.
right? The Lane we know is not a real person,
Yeah.
and that seems to be kind of what this guy is saying.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm just noticing we both got red and black going on today. Rock on.
I went with I think the most appropriate of my shirts, my Evangelion.
I was feeling Evangelion these 2 episodes, I gotta
Yep,
say.
yep. Which is funny because I put this on before I watched them.
Oh, there you
I
go.
came home from work today and changed, and I was like, "Which shirt? This one feels right." And then I watched it.
There you go. And then Lane's in class and she gets this email that just says "Peeping Tom" in it.
Yeah,
And then everyone is staring at her.
yeah. In the classroom, I mean, I assumed maybe she did something or said something
Mm-hmm.
that would make everybody stare. It was very weird though. Like, why would they all start staring suddenly?
Exactly.
And like, not just her classmates, but then like she leaves the room and
Yeah, and then it's just like random people in the hallway and in other classrooms and stuff.
so like what happened to suddenly make them look, or this is just not reality or
Yeah.
something.
Um but then again someone says something about like, oh yeah, there's like rumors flying about you. And then the window that she's standing in front of just cracks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then when she's sitting out on like these back steps at her school, I assume. And there's like this explosion that seems to originate from Lane, and then which is just never touched on again for the rest of the episode.
Yeah.
So again, who's to say reality is reality in this show? Or who's to say what we see is reality?
Now that I've been reminded that this was an inspiration for The Matrix. Yeah, I don't think this is reality.
Mm. And then this is where we get the answer to the question of like, oh, who was that in the red car? Arisu was fantasizing about her teacher.
Mm-hmm. At first, I was so upset because they're like, what, 13 or something?
Yeah, I was like, oh my god.
And I was like, okay, it's just in her mind.
That's allowed.
Yeah.
But what I wrote down is this can't be the real Lane who's taunting her.
No,
this is like very out of character for the Lane that we have seen up to this point.
Yeah. Which, first of all, she appears to be peeping in people's minds, because how would she know who she was thinking about?
Yeah, which is very interesting.
Arisu doesn't seem surprised that she knew what she was thinking. But
yeah, actually, now that you point that out.
But it kind of makes me wonder, like, because I feel like there are people in the show that do feel like real people. Like, I feel like Arisu feels like a real person.
Yeah.
But then ones that don't. So, and we keep having this talk about, the real world and the wired being one or being end to end or whatever. And so it makes me wonder if, like, parts of this world are the wired, like overlaid. I think maybe this came out before. And like Lane and her family and all that, that's the wired. But then like Arisu and some of the other people, they're real.
You just remind me of another anime that like deals with a lot of like VR and AR type shit. It's a lot more lighthearted, but it's called Denno Coil. You should check it out. You would probably really like it.
Sounds familiar.
I might have recommended it to you at one point before. But yeah, Denno Coil, very good. But where was I? I think that Lane seems to be in over her head in the Wired at this point.
Yes. Sorry, I just remembered a thing that I was going to say. The Lane that is like laughing at Arisu like that, it almost makes you wonder. So if the Lane that we know is like a projection of the real Lane, who is the wired Lane, maybe this version of her that is like peeping on people and laughing like that is another projection. Because
who's to say?
Lane says something where she's like, why are you like the worst parts of me or the parts of me I hate the most or whatever. So it's almost like different parts of her personality are being projected as like individuals.
Interesting. Okay. And then we have a scene that's sort of like the only way I can describe it is the quote unquote real Lane confronting what I assume is Lane of the Wired.
Yeah, that's the malicious Lane.
Yeah. And just to be 100% here, you have seen the end, like the movie, The End of Evangelion, correct?
Have I?
because I'm about to make a comparison to Evangelion that I don't to the end of Evangelion, and I don't want to spoil things for you if you haven't seen it.
I have. I don't
I
remember
want to
watching
like
anything after I finished the series.
hold on. I'm trying to remember exactly what because I've seen some of the Evangelion movies and I've watched the show. When does this end of Evangelion? An alternative? No, no. I think it is just the end of the. Or is it?
Yeah, this description does not sound familiar yet. An alternate ending to the series.
Maybe I
I only
haven't.
know the one
Have
ending.
you seen? Okay, so I'm at risk of spoiling something for you. Have you seen the scene where Shinji tries to like suffocate Asuka?
I think.
That's what this reminded the scene of Lane like choking her doppelganger. That's what that made me think of. That scene in Evangelion.
Hmm. Yeah. Which, and she says the thing, like, why do you have to be warm?
Yeah, that
Which,
was
like,
dark.
well, even darker, she said she was committing suicide. Which is like, sure, I guess, sort of.
I will say though, I love this weird kind of like what feels to me like the red room from Twin Peaks, these like tatami that she is like where all these people are kneeling.
You know what that reminded me of?
Do tell.
I blanked on what they're called. From, oh my god. The thing. The, we just watch it. Princess Mononoke.
Princess Mononoke, yes.
The
Reminded you of
things.
what in Princess Mononoke? The Kodama?
Those.
Interesting. Oh yeah,
They
because they
get-
make that chattering noise.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, and also you know what the all the bodies with Lane's head, you know what that reminded me of? It reminded me of the scene in Eraserhead where the like Eraserhead baby is just like it's the baby's head, but he's wearing like the suit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it reminded me of. Um so I just like from a sort of weird surrealism standpoint, I really liked all that shit. Nice.
Mm.
But then we have God question mark saying, quote, "You're the same as me. You're omnipresent in the wired."
Yes. Which, yeah, no, I'm just confused.
I'm kind of confused as well, and frankly, I think we're gonna get about the same amount of answers we got with Evangelion. Like that's my bet. We're gonna get an Evangelion
I
level of
mean,
answers.
yeah, I mean, I think what we have so far, based on what various characters have said, is that there is this like God figure that she's talking to, and then there is the wired lane, and they're basically the same type of being,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that is. But they're born. Yeah, and he
Yes.
says she was born, which I think is really important. So it's not that she's not human,
Mm-hmm.
but somewhere along the way, she got integrated into this in the same way as this other person she's talking to. And that allows them to project their consciousness is and like sort of control things in the real world.
That is a very solid theory. I like it.
Cool, because I already forgot what I just said.
Sweet. Well, I mean, we have video record of it.
So many things in my head. It's like I can't. Yeah.
Another little like just design or like composition note. There's a scene where like the ocean Lane's shadow looks like the ocean. I was just a really big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
And she says that oh yeah, she says something to this like this god question mark
Yeah.
about like oh, I'm going to like delete this information.
Mm-hmm.
Referring to like her friends' memories of her like betraying them, things like that. Yeah. And it appears that her deleting it works in some way. Or does it? Because I'm very unclear on this interaction with the two lanes that ends with the quote, Lane is Lane and I'm me.
Yes, because again, I don't think she's the real Lane.
Mm-hmm.
The Lane we know is not the real Lane. Yeah, I mean, it almost seems to me like Lane of the Wired is the real Lane,
You think
but
so?
because she has this ability to project like her consciousness and kind of be everywhere and see everything all at once, like it's almost like she's taking aspects of her personality and giving them form,
Mm-hmm.
letting them exist in the world.
Interesting.
Because I feel like the Lane, that's why now I'm just calling her the Lane we know,
Yeah.
because we felt, but like our Lane, she seems like relatively like kind of like a one note character in a lot of respects. She's very like, kind of
Shy,
meek.
reserved.
Yeah, right. So like maybe that would be that aspect of her personality. And then we have the peeping one that's like the malicious part.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's almost like this one that takes over since she like replaces her or something. Just like her sister got replaced. Is like the kind of like fun outgoing version of her.
Mm-hmm.
So it almost is like, yeah, the Lane of the Wired is the real Lane, but to interact with the world, she's sending out these versions of herself, which again, it comes from the confrontation between the two lanes earlier, where she says, like, why are you everything I hate about myself?
Yeah.
And so it's like, is the real Lane like splitting off the parts of her personality that she doesn't like?
Mm-hmm.
The one that's like meek, the one that's mean.
I could see that.
Just throwing thoughts out there.
I like it. Yeah, do we have any fucking clue where this shit's headed?
I mean, my first question is, in the next episode, is Lane going to still be replaced? Like, is she
Yeah.
going to be in the sidelines and this
Yeah.
other version of her has taken over her life? Or also, is she going to end up like her sister? Because her sister got replaced and that's what she ended up like.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't think she will because she's the main character, but
Yeah, I would guess not.
but still, like, it's pretty much the exact same thing that happened to her sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, how are we liking this one so far? Now that we're past the halfway, or at the halfway point, pretty much there.
Yeah. Well, no, we are past halfway. 8 out of 13.
Oh yeah, I can do math. Actually, no, never bring up math to me. I have healed. I have moved on. It is not part of my life anymore.
You don't want to be the Knights of Eastern Calculus?
No, I do not. But yeah, how do we feel about this one thus far? What do we think?
I'm digging
Overall
it.
impressions. I'm really liking it, and I think it's gonna get weirder, and that just like makes me even more excited to continue talking about it.
I like it. It does make my brain hurt a little bit.
Just a touch.
Mostly just because the way my brain functions, immediately it tries to come up with more theories than it can possibly hold.
Understandable.
As I said, I can just keep spitting out theory after theory after theory. It's too much
talent,
for my
really.
Huh?
It's a talent, really.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I really like this show. I couldn't tell you where we're headed, but I'm very excited to find out. And I hope that if anybody is on this journey with us, that they're excited as well.
Yeah. I was trying to make a prediction for next week, but I
got nothing for you, man.
Yeah. Other than trying to imagine where we're going to be with her being replaced or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's I also wonder, like, why were her parents acting like they were?
Yeah, we haven't really seen anything like happening like that has happened to them that would like justify it the way that we've seen with Maki.
Yeah, like they just were completely ignoring her and then just glaring at her and
Mm-hmm.
like what does that even and she didn't seem that bothered that she asked her parents like, "Oh yeah, this guy said like you weren't my real parents. Isn't that crazy?" And they don't react and
Yeah,
she's
they don't say anything.
yeah, so to me that's very bizarre. Like all the people at school staring at her is also weird that they were all staring at the exact same time, but like at least there we can be like, "Oh, it's because of the rumors."
Mm-hmm.
But like her parents, you can't even point to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause yeah, I'm just wondering, or maybe just hoping that we'll get more with the parents next time.
Okay. Yeah.
Understand that a little better. They're not real. I'm convinced at this point.
I would not even be a little bit shocked if you were correct.
Yeah.
But you'll have to stick around to find out. So,
Mhm.
let's see. Don't know about Defend Friday. When do we ever? Big Dumb Monsters Monday. I believe Regrettable Reviews on Tuesday. I'm not sure what movie they're talking about. This fucking Wednesday. It is now less than a week away. Fighting with Friends interviews Crash Diet at noon Eastern Standard Time. Be there or be square is going to be freaking amazing. And then bringing it back around to the stream again on Thursday
For 9 and 10.
for 9 and 10. So we hope to see you there.
How are we gonna work things? Because there's an odd number of episodes.
We're going to do the last 3.
Yeah, that's what I was assuming. But
So
man, that'll be a ride.
that will be a ride. We got 2 more after
Yep.
after this. We've got 2 more weeks of Serial Experiments Lane, and then we'll have to start thinking about what we'll do on the stream. Maybe we'll do. Well, hang on. When is it gonna? If it's gonna be in the middle of the month, that might be a good time of a month. That might be a good time for some video games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be like halfway to May, maybe.
Yeah, we'll be.
Maybe.
No, it'll be May 14th, I believe. So yeah, maybe we'll do some games.
Yeah, our next 2 are the 7th and 14th, so the 21st would be.
Yeah, so maybe some games. We'll see what we wind up doing.
There will be 2 more May Thursdays.
Wonderful. All right. Thank you to everybody who watched, who participated. We really appreciate it. We love to hear your thoughts and comments. And we will be back next week to talk about episodes 9 and 10. We will see y'all then. Adios, everybody.